And we are moving from the icy Estonian coast to the heat in United Arab Emirates, right? Here, my friend, Alex. Hi, how are you?
Hey, Sergey and everyone, great to see you all.
Cool, cool. It's a late night, right, for you and for us too. Yes, yes. I really appreciate your time and you have the chance to join us. So. We are talking about LinkedIn growth, sales, and all the other things. And you have some, certain expertise in sales, you know, not in good comics based on your background, but in sales maybe.
That's hilarious. Well, I appreciate it, Sergey. Is now a good time for me to screen share and take over?
Yes, 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 yes. You understood correctly. Yes, it was my hook, and time for you to
Wonderful.
share your screen.
Well, I hope at least someone out there enjoys my background, Batman backdrop. And outside of that, we'll dive into some slides and hopefully leave you guys with something very, very valuable. So, first and foremost, lovely to meet you all. My name's Alex Alleyne. I was twice recognized as a LinkedIn top voice back in 2019 and 2020. And I founded a company called Influx, where we, in essence, work with B2B executives and we work to drive them to become authorities on LinkedIn as a platform. So it's a great honor to be here and looking forward to going through this presentation where we'll make sure you have some tactical points and then of course we'll have some time for Q&A towards the end. So, first and foremost, let's just talk a little bit more about actually some of the challenges that often people are facing being on LinkedIn and wanting to get to a point where they have consistent lead flow. A lot of it is actually based around the fact that you've got people who are posting consistently with great expertise within their space, but it feels like they're just shouting into the void because there's not really any consistency with inbound leads. And then there's also not much time to actually create content. And so people get stuck becoming an invisible expert where you've got all of this expertise, but no one actually knows about you on the platform. And so you can get caught in this cycle really of the old way, which is a lot of cold outreach and manual prospecting, fighting for attention on the platform, instead of being in a situation where you have authority to then be able to attract inbound demand to you and then having prospects that are actually pre-sold. And that's a bit about what we're going to talk about here. So there's really a flywheel that you want to be able to think about, which is how do you become an authority on LinkedIn, actually capture your expertise, and then how can you create your own internal media engine in a way, and then turn that to be able to create more trust and recognition, which then leads to inbound opportunities, leads talent and partnerships. And we'll talk about how you can piece all of this together with the support of tools such as Crosslike and some other things that can actually help you on this type of journey. Now, there's a few different types of content which can really help you to drive pretty quick results with this. The first is what we call impact cards, and these are often those tweet style looking images or images that are based around high authority based statements. Because they're quite visually striking and they've got easily digestible statements, these can really, really help to at least build some of that top level overall demand and attention. You've then got thought leadership posts, which are longer form, text based, where it's more middle of the funnel type of content where people can really start to get to know you, get to like you, get to trust you because you talk a lot more about your expertise through those longer form posts. And then there's also the opportunity for repurposed assets. So, really thinking about if you have existing content on your website, blog posts, things like that, how can you repurpose that to turn that into compelling LinkedIn content? And by combining these three areas, you put yourself in a situation where you can really start to grow. Now, I mentioned this concept of building your own media engine internally, and I want to talk about a few ways that you can do this tactically. Now, first and foremost, leverage other engagement from other creators, right? And so if you've got creators within your space or within your segment, think about some of the things that they are doing. And then you can strategically comment by adding value on posts from those other creators so that you get visibility that way. And you can also start to get perceived as an industry leader if you're able to add value to someone who's already getting a lot of visibility. By doing that, you're going to start to grow much, much faster. And then you combine that by also creating content that LinkedIn actually wants to distribute. You've got to remember that LinkedIn's goal and objective is to have people stay longer on the platform. So when we spoke about those types of content before, the impact cards, the thought leadership posts, etc., really try and focus on content that is actually going to make people stick on the platform longer, right? So make it compelling, make it engaging, and most of all, make it actually valuable. Now, I want to give you a couple of quick tactical things that you could think about or consider just to make sure that you can have a fast start this week. The first thing is look at your profile. So it amazes me sometimes how people's headlines and their about sections are not well thought through. Actually, do an audit of your profile. Rewrite your headline to make sure that it's focused on the outcome that you actually deliver and not just focus on your job title. And then have a clear call to action in your about section. Tell a bit of a story and make it compelling there. Now, in the next few days, then I want you to write 5 posts based on questions that your clients ask you repeatedly, because these can really help you to build authority because they're based on things that are actually happening live for you in the field. And this can give you immediate ideas for your content because these are things that you're getting asked day to day. And then spend 15 minutes each day commenting on posts from your ideal clients and just focus on adding value. Don't actually pitch at this stage. And this can help you to get a fast start within 7 days. Something else that you can also consider is what we call the 5-3-1. So this is just 20 minutes it would take you in a day. And all I'd want you to do is to leave 5 thoughtful comments on posts from prospects or industry leaders, like we spoke about earlier. Send 3 highly personalized connection requests to your ideal clients, and then just publish 1 post based on your authority and your expertise, even if it's short. Because what you'll find is that consistency beats intensity. Just 20 minutes a day, that will compound over time. As mentioned, I got awarded LinkedIn Top Voice back in 2019 and 2020. Obviously, it's 2026 now, so you can see it's taken years to continue to be consistent on the platform to compound what I've been doing to get to a point where I was able to become a true authority on the platform. So these are a couple of tactical ways that you can really help to advance yourself. Now, if you are someone where you're a little bit stuck in terms of time, you have the expertise, but you just don't have the efficiency to actually make this work and to speed run this, you can always reach out to us because as a part of being on this particular session, you can simply send me a direct message with the word cross-like, and we'll offer you a completely free complimentary LinkedIn profile audit and 10 days of personalized content just based on the fact that you're either watching this recording or that you're on this live session here right now. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. Just send me a direct message with the word cross like. We'd be more than happy to help. And outside of that, happy to answer any questions that have come up. So over to you, Sergey.
Okay, thank you so much. It was really cool, very insightful as usual. And, especially thank you for your standard English accent. It's always pleasure for my ears. So we have some questions for you, of course. First of all, about the authority will. What breaks most inbound systems for experts today?
For a text post, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah, so if I'm understanding correctly, I would say a big thing is well, there's a couple of things. One is that the text-based posts that don't actually have any clear call to action, right? And so it's different having a post that is just a post for visibility versus a post that's actually optimized for conversion. So you've got to
Mhm.
actually ask yourself, well, what is the intent behind the post, right? What action do I want to drive by virtue of the post? And actually making sure that the post is designed to create some form of action. I'd say that's the main thing. The other thing is to just always be careful with usage of links, right? I'm
Mhm.
not necessarily saying don't use them at all, right? There's certain circumstances where they're necessary and important, but again, you've got to remember that LinkedIn want to optimize to keep people on the platform. So just be careful how often you use links or any assets that risk taking someone away from the platform, especially during those early days when you're trying to grow and scale.
Okay, okay, thank you so much. I agree 100%. The question regarding the 7-day authority quick start. What's the most common mistake people make in week one? And don't say consistency.
Yeah, I would say that it can get to a point. I mean, if we go back to the quick start here, this is a flywheel, right? And when I say a flywheel, what it means is that if one piece is missing or broken, it can actually lead the whole thing not to work as efficiently as possible. So I would actually say it can often come down to the fact that someone will excel at maybe doing two of these things, but leave one out. And if you leave one of these things out, then you're not just going to get that compounding effect. So if you got a good profile and content, but you're not doing your commenting, that can leave you a little bit stuck. Or if you have great content and you're commenting, but your profile is not like a landing page, then when people get to your page, they're not going to be optimized to actually convert. So you need to just make sure that all of the pieces come together to allow it to work as a unified flywheel.
Okay, okay, thank you. It's pretty clear. So the next question comes from LinkedIn Live. What's the fastest way to amplify beyond your existing network without paid ads?
Yeah, so we often talk about this concept of a media engine, right? And obviously we have one in-house proprietary, but if you're trying to create your own micro, the best thing that you can do is become very, very active within your industry and within your segment. And so when I say active and I speak about the flywheel, it means be the person who does the most thoughtful comments, be the person who is consistent with your posting, be the person who does different types of content, right? From polls to video to text based to picture based. Because what that allows you to do is to become omnipresent on the platform. And when I say to be omnipresent, you almost want it to log in and it's like Sergey's getting sick of seeing my face every day because it's like, oh my gosh, Alex is here with this type of post and this, then this, and this. And you put so much out there that that level of consistency and focus and intentionality, eventually people are going to start to say, what is it that Alex does, right? What is it that Sergey does? Let me try and understand a little bit more because I'm seeing him all the time and from all these different angles.
Okay, okay, I see. It's really cool, but I like to see your faces everywhere.
I appreciate it.
So,
I try.
uh, so next question, how do you balance creator engagement versus algorithm alignment in practice?
Well, ultimately, they're one. We talk about the algorithm often as this secret system, right? This like enigma that's out there in the world. But when we really distill it down, the algorithm is powered by people, right? It's powered by humans. Ultimately, it has one role, which is to connect a human with content that they're interested in. And so you've almost got to view them as one, right? What type of content would my ideal prospect or ideal client want to read, learn more about, or understand, right? And how can I do that in a way that's engaging, that's compelling, that's creative, that's innovative? But you almost don't want to disconnect it and dehumanize it, right? Think of the algorithm as a person that you're writing directly to the type of person you want to attract. And by doing that, you're going to put yourself in the best possible position to win.
Okay, okay, cool. So you have to seduce algorithm.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
okay, I have to
Absolutely.
use my magic. Okay, okay. So, I'm gonna talk on behalf of all the poor people with limits left and right. If someone can only start with one level, which should it be and why?
Yeah, I mean, of the levels that we went through, I would say to focus on the thought leadership posts and that style. And that really serves two purposes. One, for you as a creator and as an authority, is the best way for you to truly demonstrate your expertise because you can go deeper in what you cover. You can really share your expertise, and it really helps you to truly establish yourself as an authority. And then when you think about the person at the other end, it's great for them because it can really educate them properly on a topic. They can go throughout their day where they've actually gained some true value based on the nature of that post. and it puts them in a position where they can then really start to see you as a true authority on the platform as well.
Okay, cool. I've written it down actually. I'm gonna use it tomorrow. So, and another question about the daily routine. Which part of the routine actually drives inbound leads, not just engagement?
Yeah, ultimately, it really comes down to the call to action aspect of it. What amazes me, and we often talk about this from a sales perspective as well, where sometimes you'll come across a salesperson and they do a great discovery call, they do a great pitch, but they don't actually ask for the business, right? They don't have that mentality to go for it towards the end. It's no different
Hmm.
with content, right? Maybe you tell a great story, maybe you have a great compelling post, but if you don't actually have somewhere where you're directing someone at the end, it's like having a compass that doesn't have an arrow, and the person just reads it and then they get on with their day. So you've got to be in a situation where you let people know what action you're looking for them to take. People need direction. And I would say that's the biggest gap is that people actually forget that final piece, which arguably is one of the more important components of the whole thing.
Okay, cool, cool. Yes, yes. No, really insightful. I had to come today to hear all of these things. And I guess we have the last question for you, and you can go to sleep. So, if someone implements just one thing tomorrow, what should it be?
Yeah, I mean, look, if someone was going to do one thing tomorrow, I would actually say the lowest hanging fruit that can have a bigger impact than people realize is a true profile optimization. Honestly, Sergey. And I say that because your profile is your landing page. And if it isn't configured in the best way possible, I'm talking about your banner, your headline, your about section, your featured section, the way you've broken out your experiences. If it's not optimized in the best way possible, you could really be leaving a lot of revenue on the table. A big part of what we're trying to do through content is to drive people to your page. And if your page is not ready, then you're going to be leaving a ton on the table. So I'd say if you do nothing else, properly optimize your profile, have a banner that really speaks to your outcome. Same with your headline, same with the way that your about section tell a story there. Use the featured section to actually drive people towards your product, your service, your funnel, or to book a call with you, and make sure that everything else about your profile represents you in the way that you really want to be represented online.
Okay, so clear value proposition and understandable breakdown of your features and actions and actionable call to action, right? It's
Absolutely.
like a good recipe for a Michelin restaurant. So,
Absolutely.
okay, thank you so much for participating. It was really nice to see you again. So, good night and see you later.
Thank you so much. It was great to see you all. Thank you so much for having me and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Okay, bye.
Take care.